Round one, fight!
Welcome back, Movie Misfits, and today we're going to be doing a review on Kong vs. Godzilla, which was just released last week on HBO Max and some movie theaters that are open. Now, before we go into the review, I won't give any spoilers about this film. I'll just give some of my thoughts, some things I really liked, and a few things that I didn't like. As a little kid growing up, I was a big fan of the old black and white King Kong film. I was a big fan of the 1970s film of King Kong. As a kid growing up, I used to watch Turner Classics very often. And King Kong vs. Godzilla was one of the flicks that were on the Turner Classic channel. So anything King Kong, I was all about. I remember being like 4 years old, going to the theater to see King Kong Lives, which was a terrible movie in retrospect, but I loved King Kong so much that I had to see it as a kid. As you can see my shirt, you know who I'm rooting for. Not to mention, in every King Kong movie, I usually end up crying. I also do enjoy some good Godzilla flicks as well. I was really into the Godzilla movie with Bryan Cranston. I thought the movie was great up until Bryan Cranston died. Spoiler alert. Other than that, I did enjoy the film, even though there wasn't that much of Godzilla. And when I first saw the trailer to the Kong vs. Godzilla movie, I was kind of excited because I knew it was leading up to this. But when I did see the trailer, I was like, uh-oh. There's a potential character that could communicate with Kong. I was like, oh no, not another person like Star-Lord in this movie. Someone that speaks Raptor all of a sudden. I was like, oh, come on. So I was very hesitant about the movie. I was like, as long as King Kong and Godzilla are on the screen 90% of the movie, I'm okay with that. If I have to put up with really bad written characters, I'll try to hold out as much as I can. However, I had really low expectations of this film, so I ended up enjoying this movie actually very much. So I was really expecting to be annoyed with the human element of the movie, but actually they weren't as horrible as I thought. And if you want to see Godzilla and King Kong fighting, you're going to get a lot of that in this movie, which I enjoyed very, very much. And this movie is far from perfect. There are plenty of holes in this movie that just don't make any sense, but you kind of just have to be like, okay, movie science or movie magic. With the exception of the little girl, everyone else in the cast is not so great. They're kind of just there. And they kind of basically are there just to tell us what things are. They're going to be like, oh, it's Godzilla.
It's Godzilla.
No duh. I will say there are some returning cast members from the previous Godzilla film. You'll recognize them right away. However, they're barely in the movie, which was perfectly fine with me because they kind of didn't make any impact in the movie whatsoever. There was one character, I will just call him the conspiracy theorist guy. He's probably one of the better characters throughout this movie, him and the little girl. So I felt like those were the two better of the characters throughout the whole movie. Everyone else in this movie is there to either make exposition or just to kill time, basically. The human villain that's in the film, you basically don't even need to know his name. He's very generic. He's basically the bad guy. That's all he could be credited as, and it wouldn't matter. So, like I said, this movie is not perfect. It has plenty of holes. Most of the characters are not great in this film. Most of them are just there to state the obvious. And basically, this movie is relying on movie science or movie magic, whatever you want to call it. So, like I said, it's full of holes. But basically, it's just there to make the next scene happen. Which is fine. I'm okay with that. I would say this movie is a lot better than the last Godzilla film. And I would say it's definitely a lot better than the last two Jurassic World films. Like I said, I won't go into any spoilers, but there are some funny scenes where the camera focuses right on Godzilla's face. He's kind of like giving his best Clint Eastwood look. And it just cracked me up, but it was actually pretty well done. Anyone that watches this movie and is also a big fan of the Lethal Weapon franchise, you will see a little tribute there. I'm not sure it was purposely done, but I thought it was pretty cool because as soon as I saw the scene, I was like, Lethal Weapon. So I don't know if it was purposely done or what, but it worked out that way, and I thought it was pretty cool. I really wanted to enjoy this movie in the theater because I feel like this is the kind of movie that needs to be seen in this theater. It's a popcorn movie. It's a fun summer action kind of movie. However, the Regal by my house is not open yet, so hopefully it'll be open soon because I would like to see it again on the big screen because of all the visuals and everything that was done. So I've said it once, and I'll say it one more time. I always think of John Lovitz in that scene from Three Amigos explaining a movie.
At first, you think he's a terrible guy. You fight. Then, you get to know him, you come to respect each other, and at the end of the picture, you're friends.
So I actually enjoyed the movie. I was actually pleasantly surprised that I did enjoy the movie because I was expecting something not so great. What did you think of it, Lola? I'm going to give Kong vs. Godzilla a B-. I'm tempted to give Kong vs. Godzilla a C+. However, I'll give it a B- just because it's very entertaining and it was a fun popcorn movie. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and I'll see you at the movies.
Get more out of life. Go out to a movie.